Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. I'm Bobby Klink. I'm the attorney and online entrepreneur behind Your Online Genius, if you don't know me. On Friday, I jumped in here and gave a legal checklist. And I did that because I know that a lot of times I hear from people that one of their frustrations is that they don't know where to begin or what they don't know or what they don't need to do. So I did a legal checklist, kind of the 5 big areas that you need to deal with. There's a link in the comments or a link, I guess, in the post. If you didn't get a chance to check that out, I think you definitely ought to. Today, we're going to dive into the first of the 5 areas. We're going to be talking about why you need to create an LLC for your business. And almost as if like the universe is telling me it's a good thing I'm doing this, in a couple of groups I'm in, literally, I saw this question come up today in 2 different groups for online entrepreneurs. And so it's definitely something that I know people have questions about. So I wanted to address it. And so let me start with the background here. A lot of people, if you do nothing, you're what's called a sole proprietor. You're just doing business as yourself and it's just you. You're doing it as whatever. If I were doing it, it'd be me, Bobby Klink, as a person doing business. That's the default position, and that's not a place you want to be. And the reason why is that if you do that, if you just go as a sole proprietor, even if you file to be a sole proprietor or doing business as or anything like that, you personally are on the hook for 100% of the liability for anything that happens in your business. And so what I mean by that is if you sign a contract on behalf of your business, you're on the hook. If you hire someone on your business and they mess something up, you're on the hook personally. And by you, I mean like your personal assets, your car, your bank account, everything in your life personally. Now, some states wouldn't let people take your home, but just about everything short of your home they could take. So that's what kind of the world you're in if you don't do anything. And that's why every lawyer, if you talk to any lawyer, they're going to tell you, if you're serious about your business, if this isn't just a side hustle or something that you're just kind of dabbling with, you should create an LLC. It is the basic form of a company. It's a limited liability company. They are easy to form. They're easy to manage. There aren't a lot of requirements. So that's why we lawyers suggest you do it. But it's easy to operate, but it gives you all that protection. So what you do, for example, my company, Your Online Genius, even, in the future, I may rebrand it to bobbyklink.com. But even if I do, it'll be operating as the Your Online Genius LLC. And what that means is any contract I sign on behalf of the company, not me personally. So if something happens, if we have some problem, if there's a dispute, they can only come after what's in the company bank account, the company assets. They can't come after Bobby Klink personally. Now, I want to be very clear here because a lot of lawyers blow smoke on this and suggest that it is a silver bullet. It's not. You're still going to be liable for things you do personally. So let me give you an example. In my law firm business operates under the LLC, Klink LLC. And it signs all the contracts. When someone engages the company, they're hiring Klink LLC. All that being said, if me, Bobby Klink, working in that law firm, if I commit malpractice, hadn't happened yet, but if I were to do it, they could still sue me because I did it personally. But if an employee does it, if a contractor does something and messes something up, I'm not going to be personally liable. Only the company is. And it's especially important once you start signing contracts. For example, all my leases I've ever signed, even in co-working spaces, all that are signed on behalf of the entity, not me personally. I have never signed a lease for a business personally. And I've been in business for well over 5 years now between my law firm and the online business. And so I've never signed a lease personally because I sign on behalf of the LLC. It gives me that protection. And a lot of people talk about it, and there's some misinformation out there. And this is why I say you should talk to a lawyer first, not an accountant. Because creating an LLC is not about taxes. You will be taxed exactly the same if you create an LLC as you are as a sole prop. It's not going to affect anything there. It's about protecting your liability. And so that's why you're doing it. Now, there are more advanced things you can do later on as you're building your business and deciding what kind of LLC, et cetera, that you want to talk to an accountant for. But that's about taxes, not about liability. So that's kind of a broad overview. And let me tell you, this doesn't have to be a complicated procedure. This is one of those things that I tell most people you can actually form the LLC yourself. And what I mean by that is in Washington, D.C., where I am, and both my LLCs are formed, it costs $220 to create an LLC. And I think I have to answer like 7 or 8 questions online. And that's it. And like some of the questions are like, what's my name? What's the name of the LLC? What's the address? And things like that. So it's not hard. It's a very simple process. You can do it in 10 minutes and then you'll have an LLC created. Now, after that, you need to create an operating agreement. This is basically the agreement that explains how it's going to be managed. And it's kind of weird because us sole owners, it's kind of weird. It's basically a contract between me, Bobby Klink, and my LLC talking about how the LLC is going to be operated and how it's going to be managed. And it, of course, says that I can do whatever I want. I mean, it has a lot of legal niceties, but it's basically giving me all authority. But you need that a couple of reasons. One, if you later bring in other owners, you're going to need it. But also a lot of banks are going to want to see that. They're going to want to see, for example, that Bobby Klink is authorized to sign checks on behalf of your Online Genius LLC. Again, I think both banks where I've opened bank accounts for businesses have required a copy of my operating agreement to prove that I have the authority. So that's what that document is. So you need to get that. That's the hardest part, but you can get templates. You can find ways to do that. So that's what I commend you today. The first thing you need to do to protect your business is create an LLC and get an operating agreement in place. If you do that, that's going to be a huge step forward to get yourself protected. Now, if the legal stuff is something that just makes you say, ooh, this sounds like a lot of stuff. There's a lot of documents, a lot of, agreements I'm going to have to create, et cetera. And if that makes you nervous, I have something that I can help you with on that. I have what's called the Online Genius Template Library. I'm opening the doors next week. It's kind of my all-you-can-eat buffet. You get all of my legal templates for one price. Once you buy it, you get access to a private Facebook group where you get support from me. And also, if I add any additional templates in the future, I add them into the purchase that you've already made. So if I later start selling another agreement, you will get access to it. It's funny that I'm doing this. I'm creating an agreement that I'm going to use in a training for someone that I agreed to help in their group to be a guest expert tomorrow. And so I'm going to add that to the template library once it's done. I'm going to go ahead and add that in. It'll be another template that people have access to. So the idea is that this is your legal toolbox that you buy forever. If it's something you're interested in, there's a link in the post where you can join the wait list just to make sure that you hear about it when I open the doors next week. I have a very limited cart open. It'll be open Monday to Thursday of next week. So if you might be interested, make sure you get on the wait list and that way you'll hear about it. But regardless, make sure you form an LLC to protect your personal assets. So create the LLC and operate under the LLC, and you will be, you have the first thing on your legal checklist done. And come back here tomorrow. I will be dealing with the second step in the process. Till then, I'll talk to you later.